Hey everyone, welcome to the Morning Grind podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It is Wednesday, May 28th. It is 2025. We have a nice little 5-game MLB slate to talk about here on Wednesday night. Going to be breaking down the main slate over there on DraftKings. It's interesting. It's fun because it starts later. Like the first game's at like 7:40 p.m. Eastern. So we have like this like smaller, later start slate with some pitching options, some upside pitchers, a lot of fun. And then a couple pitchers where it's like, all right, I could definitely see this guy doing well or struggling. So a lot to talk about in this game just in general. So excited to break this one down. Wish they added the 2 6 o'clock games. Honestly, I haven't looked at anything besides this slate. I broke down this slate. I got home late from volleyball practice. So I can't even tell you who's playing at 6 o'clock or the 2 games that are at 6 o'clock. So I've only focused on these 2 games. So let's have some fun. Hope everyone's having a fantastic Tuesday night over there in chat. I had a good night. My volleyball team is prepping for nationals, so I'm really excited for nationals coming up for my team, and yeah, I'm definitely pumped for that. And we had a really good practice tonight, so always awesome. What's up, DJ Derek Yeezy? So let's get into it and break this down. 5 games. We get started with Cincinnati at Kansas City, 7.5 total. Common theme of the show, 7.5 total. You'll see. Reds a 120 favorite in this one. Hunter Green, Noah Cameron. I think it's Noah, right? Noah Cameron facing off against each other. We'll start here with Hunter Green. Obviously, strikeout upside, love it. 34.7% strikeout rate on the season, one of the highest strikeout pitchers in baseball. Just swinging strike rate through the roof. Tough matchup. Kansas City, low strikeout team, but he is way underpriced. 9K. I know he struggled last time out against the Cubs. Cubs are a really good offense. I'm not too worried about it. I know it was like a groin injury. He came back and he looked okay. I think that we see vintage Hunter Green in this spot. I think we see him get close to 100 pitches if he's pitching well. Like I said, tough strikeout matchup, but the one thing that we love about facing Kansas City is they don't have a ton of power in this lineup right now. Like Salvador Perez at one point in his career was like, yeah, this guy's a hitter. And this year he's really struggled. Pascantino and Bobby Witt, really the 2 bats that we're necessarily like worried about. But yeah, I mean, more Witt than anything else. Man, Yelich just hit a walk-off grand slam against my Red Sox. That's why I was a little late. I was watching Devers at bat and got distracted. So sorry about that. For anybody that was hanging out at the 10:30 start time. I really wanted to see Seattle. Like the first inning for Seattle was exactly what I was kind of hoping for. Have a single game parlay with Seattle where I have Seattle over 4 runs, Seattle win, and Julio Rodriguez over 1.5 total bases. So rooting for that. Anyway, back to this game. Got distracted. It happens to the best of us. I like Hunter Green a lot. I think it's a great spot for him. Other side, Noah Cameron. I talked a lot in depth about Noah Cameron before his last start, and I mean, I'll pat myself on the back. I think I nailed it. I think he pitched really well in that game. 8 strikeouts against Minnesota. I had that 1 home run, but pitched awesome. So if you played him, you were very happy with his performance. I love this matchup. I'm going right back to the well here against the Cincinnati team that very hit or miss against left-handed pitching. You know, they're going to leave some of these lefties in there, but even the righties that they'll have come into this lineup are not like the best righties. Like we're going to see like Connor Joe in the lineup here, which is good. Just overall, if he can kind of get around Hayes and Stevenson, I think this is a spot he could definitely pitch well. So I like this guy. I talked a lot about it against Minnesota when I finally got to talk about him because he hadn't been on the slate that like I had the chance to break him down, but he has elite command. He's going to hit corners. He's going to hit spots. He's going to pitch well. This guy's really good. So I mean, the 5 walks in his first start against Tampa is an outlier. That's not him. I bet his under walks last time out. I'll probably look at it again in this matchup. So, like both pitchers in this game, if you don't like the pitchers on the Cincinnati bats, it'd be the 2 that I just mentioned, Stevenson and Hayes. Those are the 2 bats that I'm definitely worried about from the perspective of Noah Cameron. But overall, I don't love this game for bats. It'd be those 2 that I would take some potential shots on here. On the Kansas City side, like Hunter Green, if he's off and he's not right, sure, like the stack could potentially work. But even last time out against the Cubs, a much better offense. No offense, Royals fans, but I think we all can agree the Cubs' raw offense is better. Even in that game, he didn't really necessarily like struggle. But the bullpen was awful after him, so there's always that. I don't love it. I think if I was going to play Kansas City, I'd stack them, but it's like it'd probably be more of a mini stack: Garcia, Pasquantino, Witt, and maybe a 4th piece of just like a cheaper bat that has a good lineup spot. All right, we got Colorado at Chicago taking on the Cubs here. 7.5 total. Cubs a 345 favorite. Gordon against Boyd. Let's check the weather really quick. It looks like we're going to have wind blowing in again at Wrigley. So that's always good for pitching. Obviously, we'll start with Tanner Gordon. I think he's one of the worst pitchers that we have on the slate. You know, he's done a good job of like throwing strikes and not walking hitters, but 2 outings, really hasn't shown a ton of upside. Pitched better last time out against the Yankees. I don't want to play Tanner Gordon against the Cubs, even with the wind blowing in. This is a spot that I will definitely stay away from. Matthew Boyd, I like this spot a lot for Boyd. I will say I definitely prefer taking right-handed pitchers against the Rockies just because they can get very right-handed against left-handed pitching. Like they got Beck, Tovar's back. Goodman's been good against lefties this year. Doyle is typically good against lefties, so like prefer right-handed pitchers against them. But I still think Boyd, he's sitting around like 25% Ks. His strikeout rate is really solid. He'll definitely benefit from the wind blowing in because he does give up home runs and fly balls. So I like the price point a lot here for Matthew Boyd at 8.3K. I like the matchup. If I'm not playing Boyd and if I'm looking at the bats for the Rockies, I mean, back when he's not striking out, he hits the ball hard. Goodman, when he's not striking out, he hits the ball hard. Those would be 2 towards the top of my list here. Speaking of hitting the ball hard, Cal Riley just crushed one. I saw that out of the corner of my eye. For anybody sweating some baseball on Tuesday night, he crushed that baseball. So yeah, I mean, for me, I think that you could definitely take some shots on Beck, Goodman, Tovar, maybe Doyle. If you're not playing Boyd, I definitely prefer the Boyd side of this game. Cubs, I like the Cubs here. Tanner Gordon, he's going to throw a lot of strikes. He's going to attack hitters, and this is, I mean, it's a 5-game slate, and I think we're going to see quite a bit of ownership on the Yankees. Just for what it's worth, like that's my initial like lean of like who's going to have a lot of ownership on this slate. I think the Yankees are going to have a lot of ownership. So I think the Cubs, with the wind blowing in, with the lower total, I don't think they get as much ownership as they probably should. The wind blowing in stinks. Don't get me wrong. Not a spot that I love with the wind blowing in, but they're still an awesome offense. They're still going to hit Tanner Gordon hard. So I still want to play the Cubs on this smaller slate. I like the Cubs. Yeah. Brian says, of course I tinkered and didn't end up with any Riley and with the head smash. Seattle is one of my highest owned like mini stacks on this slate. I ended up with a lot of Arizona, a lot of Boston. They didn't perform. A lot of Houston and a lot of Seattle. But on Tuesday night slate, so I don't know if I had enough Houston compared to like the ownership because they were very highly owned when I was checking earlier. But anyway, I like the Cubs. I think you play the Cubs. You play the Cubs, even with the wind blowing in Wrigley, you play the Cubs. You're going to get the Cubs at lower ownership. They're facing a pitcher that has not done a good job of missing bats. Even last year when we saw Tanner Gordon, he had like a 16% K rate with a 300 ISO and a 440 WOBA. So like this isn't just this year for Tanner Gordon. He's hittable. Up next, we got Toronto at Texas. No total in this game. I'm assuming it's because Eric Lauer is starting, but they did like let Eric Lauer kind of go last time he was supposed to open. He threw 85 pitches in that game against Tampa. So I think we'll get a total soon on this one. If it's not up already, I wrote this down a little while ago. Molly and Eric Lauer facing off against each other in this one. I don't know. Texas has been so disappointing, I feel like is the right term. Like, we expect so much more from the Rangers. Like, I don't know. They just got dominated by Francis. He had like 3 hits and like 6 Ks, and like he is such a hittable pitcher. So like I don't know. I want more from Texas. I think we all kind of want Texas. More from Texas. Eric Lauer, man, I don't think I can do it. Just because I don't trust the pitch count. But man, on a 5-game slate, if they let him go 85 pitches again with how rough Texas has looked, maybe. I mean, Langford, Josh Jung, Heim, Berger, like they are guys that can hit left-handed pitching. They don't have a lot outside of that. I don't think I can do it, but it sure is very tempting. Like the problem is on this 5-game slate, kind of talked about it already, but like Green and Cameron are both under 9 and 88. Boyd is like 83. Those are likely going to be my 3 highest owned pitchers on this slate, and they're all very, very mid-range type pricing. So I don't know if I necessarily have to get to Eric Lauer. If you're running 150, I would play a pinch. Texas, they should be doing better than they actually are. I think you could play a pinch. All right. The other side of this one, Tyler Molly. Hopefully Nathan Eovaldi's okay. I saw that he left the game early. I didn't see why. Tyler Molly, even the little bit that we got to see like Tyler Molly last year, he really struggles with strikeouts against righties. And this team is full of right-handed hitters. They have power against left-handed pitching or left-handed hitting. They have power from the left side too, is what I meant to say. I can't speak sometimes. Tyler Molly, like he's done a really good job this year of limiting power. He's only allowed 2 home runs all season, and both of those were in 1 start against Boston. But he really hasn't shown a ton of ceiling. So I'm on the fence. I think this is a spot I'd probably stay away. more of like, I just prefer the other three pitchers more than Tyler Mahle today. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, I don't have a really like awesome reason or like awesome stat to stay away from him, but yeah, I mean that's just kind of where I'm at. I think Tyler Mahle has pitched really solid this year. Like I said, he's done a really good job of limiting power. Just some of his advanced stats, when you start looking into his advanced stats, definitely suggests like there's some regression coming. And if you wanted some fun stats on him, that's the only thing that I will say is like some of his advanced stats suggest there's regression coming. His fastball has been really, really solid. His breaking ball has not been great. His whiff rate is still very low. His K rate is very low. His WOBA is 239 on the season, and his X WOBA is 321. Definitely suggests like there's regression coming. His ERA is like 1.8, and his X ERA is like 3.8. So there's regression coming in his numbers. He's getting barreled more. So yeah, I mean, I don't think this is a spot I want to play him. If regression does hit him, why not Toronto? I hate stacking this team. I've talked about this on the show before. This is like that team that like I feel like I never get this team right. But on a 5-game slate, I think you could potentially take some shots here on them against Tyler Mahle and hope that he does struggle a little bit. So Varsho, Vlad, Bichette, Springer, Santander, Barger, Lukes, all in play for me today. I think Toronto is that sneaky stack that I want some exposure to. Because if Tyler Mahle does struggle and he does have that bad game that we're waiting to happen, this could easily be like the low-owned stack that nobody plays. And it's not like the Texas bullpen is very good. I mean, they are very, very middle. The Texas side, so I really like Wyatt Langford. Shocking. He's awesome against left-handed pitching. I like Josh Jung. He's really good against left-handed pitching. I don't mind Jake Berger. I know his numbers this season are kind of down against lefties, but last year he had a 200 ISO against left-handed pitching. If Jonah Heim catches, he has upside against left-handed pitching. Simeon and Garcia have really struggled against lefties this season. So I'd stay very, I'd be very careful on them. I will say they did call up Krim. So there's a chance that like Krim plays today for Texas, and he's a righty that has a little bit of upside. I was reading about him yesterday. Let me see if I can pull it up really quick. Krim. I almost said Grim. Did I say Grim originally? I didn't mean to. If I did, it's Krim with a C. So he's not going to show up on like any prospect because he's been around. He's been playing in minor league baseball since 2019. So he's been around. But this year in AAA, he has 10 home runs. He has 19 extra base hits. Doesn't look like he has a ton of speed, but I mean, 250 ISO, 905 OPS, 126 WRC plus in AAA this year. So, yeah, I mean, if Krim plays at 2.6K, sure, why not? Let's take a shot. The only thing that I will say is like there might be a little bit of pinch hit risk with him, but we saw him a little bit earlier this year, and he really didn't do much, but maybe a second go here, he'll have a little bit more confidence. And a lot of the times with like young hitters getting called up, it's just a confidence thing. So don't mind taking some shots there. Our boy Ozuna didn't do too bad on Tuesday night. I think he had a walk and a hit. I was really hoping he stole a base. He had a couple opportunities where he was on first and nobody on second. I was like, run, just run. Didn't do it. All right, New York Yankees at LA taking on the Angels. 9 total in this game. Yankees a 170 favorite. Schmidt against Kikuchi in this one. We'll start with Schmidt. I do not like Schmidt at all here. Clark Schmidt at all. Like one of my least favorite plays on the entire slate. The Angels can hit right-handed pitching with power. So this is a guy that, like, he's done really solid against righties this year, but he gives up a lot of fly balls and line drives. Yeah, he has some strikeout stuff, but he's another one that, like, a lot of potential regression coming for Schmidt, and, like, his numbers aren't great to start. So I want to chase some home runs against him, and we'll talk about the bats in a second. On the Yankees side, or on the Angels side, Kikuchi here, like, Kikuchi has been awesome against lefties and struggles against righties. The Yankees will leave probably Bellinger, maybe Grisham in there in this one. So he could benefit from that, but, like, he still has to get around, like, Goldschmidt, Judge, Volpe, Dominguez, LeMahieu. Like, I don't want to play Kikuchi here. He has upside, sure. But I don't think this is the spot you want to do it. The Diamondbacks are putting some runs on the board. I love this. This is what we want to see, Arizona. We want to see runs scored. This is the good stuff right here. I don't think scoring's down. I mean, look at like tonight's slate. I mean, Tuesday night, Arizona has 6 runs. Seattle has 4. Marlins, San Diego, there's 12 runs in that game. Dodgers, Cleveland, there was 14 runs. St. Louis, Baltimore, 11. Mets, White Sox, 10. Reds, Royals, 9. Astros, Athletics, 12. I mean, I think, like, I don't think scoring is necessarily down. Maybe. Like, I don't have the numbers up in front of me, so I don't want to say no, but I just feel like maybe. Yeezy in chat says I got a good sweat. Astros, Diamondbacks. Yeah, I mean, Astros, they just hit my parlay. I had Arizona, or not parlay. I had Arizona over 5.5 runs in that game, so I like that. I would love to see Suarez hit a bomb right here. That'd be awesome. He did not, though. As far as bats in this game, going back to Wednesday's slate, Yankees at LA. The Yankees bats against Kikuchi. I like Goldschmidt. I like Judge. I like Volpe. That's where I would start. I will say, like I said, Kikuchi is good against lefties, but the Angels bullpen is not great, so I don't mind potentially just stacking the Yankees. I think they're going to be the chalkier stack on this slate, just kind of how this slate shapes up. And I could be wrong. Don't get me wrong. I could be wrong. Don't get me wrong. I could be wrong. Oh, I like that Dylan Moore double too. I had him over total bases, so that was good too. Don Place says, "Is there a Discord I can pay for?" So I do have a Patreon that I give out MLB bets, like all the bets that I bet for the day. I do have a Patreon that is $20 a month, and I give out, I don't know, 20 or 30 bets a week that I'm on. So any bet that I bet personally, I post on my Patreon page for baseball. And I'll probably continue it with football for what it's worth. So you can do that, and it's in the comment section or in the description of the podcast. So check that out if you're interested. Angels bats, like I said, I want to chase some home runs here with Schmidt, because Schmidt tends to give up more line drives and fly balls, which is good for chasing some home runs. Moncada, Ward, Neto would be my 3 favorites here. All 3 of those guys have ISOs over 250 against right-handed pitching this year. So those are the 3 that I'm kind of looking at and eyeing in this spot to chase some home runs. I could see even using the Angels as like a mini stack, because they're still not like overly expensive. Ward's still only 4K. Moncada's 41. The one that like gets you is Nato, but nobody plays him because he's so expensive. So for me on the Angels, Ward, Moncada would be my favorites looking at pricing now. But I wouldn't hate, taking some shots on Neto. We finish it out. Washington at Seattle. 8.5 total in this game. Seattle, a 205 favorite. We got Williams and Kirby facing off against each other. You know, I love stacking against Trevor Williams. You probably already knew this was coming. I don't want to play him at all. I don't even remotely want to think about playing him. He just struggles. He's really struggled with left-handed power bats this year, which probably benefits him a little bit in this matchup because they don't have a ton of left-handed power. But yeah, I mean, Cal Riley just hit 2 home runs on Tuesday night, and he might hit 2 more home runs on Wednesday night. So I don't want to play Williams. He's not good. He doesn't throw the ball by anybody. I don't like this matchup whatsoever for him. Other side of this one, George Kirby returned against Houston and really struggled. Just couldn't get anything going against that Houston lineup. He was dealing with some right shoulder injury. Like, that's what took him so far back. He really struggled with command. He didn't throw a ton of strikes in that matchup, which is always super concerning. Arizona had a double steal. We love that. I don't know if Yeezy has those two in his Arizona Houston stack that he's talking about in chat, but man, double steals are. I had both of those guys in my Arizona stack, so that was a good. I like those. So yeah, Kirby. I think I'm gonna pass on Kirby. I think we'll get to playing more George Kirby as he starts to get healthier and looks like George Kirby. But until we kind of see that, I think I want to stay away from Kirby. As far as the bats here, I like Abrams, I like Wood, I like Lowe at the top. Like, if you want to take any shots on any of those 3 guys at the top of the order and hope that like Kirby's just not right, I could do that. Outside of that, I mean, Washington's really cheap. Just overall, they're really cheap. They have a couple of young hitters up in the lineup right now. So if you want to just roll the dice and hope that like George Kirby isn't right, go for it. Like, no one should talk you out of playing Washington on this 5-game slate. I don't know if they have as much upside as other teams just in general, but I mean, they're going to have cheap bats here. I mean, Hassel is what, 2.5, 2.4. Pena at second base, third base, 2,600, and Dalen Lyle is 2K. So like, you're gonna get some cheap bats in the lineup here for Washington if you want to take some shots on them. I don't hate it. Seattle, I'm just gonna stack them up again. I like this spot a lot. Cal Riley, I think, is one of the top hitters on the entire slate. I really like this spot for Polanco. I hope Rowdy Tellez is in the lineup. I really like him in this one. I'm going to play Seattle as a top-end stack today. I'm going to build out 5-man stacks of Seattle in my 5-3, 5, 20 entry max. They're going to be one of my heavier owned stacks today. I think Trevor Williams is not great, and I love stacking against this guy. He gets hit so hard, and people don't love playing Seattle when they're at home. I mean, just looking at my Seattle ownership, Seattle lineups on like Tuesday, like, they're so low owned again. Like, Julio Rodriguez against a lefty that doesn't really strike anybody out was 5.7%. Yeah, I mean, I think you could definitely play Seattle in this one. Definitely think you can play Seattle in this one. All right, morning grind game. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Always fun doing these shows. I just really enjoy talking baseball. I love baseball. I enjoy talking baseball. So I appreciate everyone. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button over there on the Morning Grind YouTube page. I am trying to get to 2,000 by the end of the month. Need a huge push. Let's help it. Push it. Help me. Send it out. Support the show. I love baseball and NASCAR. Hey, I love baseball and NASCAR too. I love volleyball too. I don't know. I mean, I've talked about it before, but I think people know I love volleyball. Baseball, volleyball, NASCAR, football. I like basketball. I don't watch as much basketball as I used to, and I don't plan on playing DFS basketball probably ever again. I don't have like maybe if it's I like betting basketball. I still bet basketball, but like with my like with kids and stuff like nowadays, like I do not have as much time to bet or to play DFS basketball. I like watching the Brazilians play volleyball in the Olympics. Oh man. All right. Under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts. I really don't think any of these guys do, but if I had to pick one person, I'd probably say Schmidt. Over 8K to score under 15. My bust today is going to be Kirby. Over 4K to hit a home run. I'm going to Cal Riley. Love this spot. I think, like I said, I think that there's potential that he could have another multi-home run game back-to-back days. So like this spot a lot for him. Under 4K to score 10 plus points. I'm going to Rowdy Tellez, hoping that he'll be in the lineup. Stack to score 6 or more runs. Like I said, I really like Seattle. I think that they're in an excellent spot. But I'm going to go Chicago Cubs to score 6 or more runs today. I think they're going to be low owned. Maybe I'm wrong, but because it's a 5-game. But I think that you could take some shots here. Appreciate everyone hanging out. I have not looked at the. I'll look really quick at the Thursday slate and see if we'll do a podcast or I'll do a podcast tomorrow or not. Sorry, I'm distracted because Julio Rodriguez just got an in-play runs, and I wanted to see what happened, whether it's a home run or not. Oh, it looks like it was just a single. All right, so Thursday slates 1, 2, 3 games, 4 games. Probably not going to do a podcast for Thursday slate, so I'll be back Thursday night for Friday. If I decide I will do a podcast tomorrow. Do I have 2 pitchers I like to get 3 strikeouts? I would say Matthew Boyd and Hunter Green both get 3 strikeouts for your parlay. So, hope everyone has a fantastic Wednesday. Back Friday to talk baseball. Good luck, everyone. See you then.